All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What's What VR. Today we got two guests with us today. We've got Jimmy and Peter from Knock Knock Children's Museum. How is it, guys?
Hey, Brennan, thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. I've had requests to get you guys here, to find out what's happening over there, at Knock Knock. Just right out of the gate, for anybody who doesn't go all the way through, pay attention. We got some information. We've got big things happening this weekend, with the Duck Derby. And then we've got also a gala information for November 12th and how that's getting retooled. So stick around. It's going to be well worth it. You're going to get some information. Don't bail on us just yet. So, Peter, what's happening over there? It's, tell us.
Yeah. I mean, we unfortunately, we closed about March 13th for, COVID, when this was sort of first, it kind of came, the point that it is now. And so that puts us at over 150 days closed, if you can imagine that. We're just about to be celebrating our third sort of birthday and having the facility, but really, by the time we celebrate our third birthday, we'll have actually been closed for almost 6 months. So that certainly is a tough line to walk, and certainly an outcome that nobody saw, on the horizon. Timing wise, we were just heading into the standard sort of school group field trip season, which kind of kicks off every year in about mid-March and runs you pretty much until the summer, and then obviously busy summer visitation, and that kind of gets you into the fall when things kind of slow down a little bit. So obviously, the sad part is, we've lost a good bit of revenue during this time that we've been closed. We were pretty fortunate, going into it with, good sort of cash reserves, but, obviously there's nothing coming in outside of small bits and pieces for programming content, which we're out providing and continuing to support our community that has done such a good job supporting us. So, that's part of the reason why we appreciate opportunities like this to come on shows like yours and just say, hey, look, we're still here. We're actually like super busy. We're not, just hanging out waiting for COVID to pass us by. We're doing a lot. We miss everybody coming to the museum, but, we're looking out, for the next 3 years and, trying to figure out what this is all going to look like when we can kind of come out of our, COVID time apart.
Man, that's good to hear. And, I was sitting there thinking about it as you were saying it, for anybody who doesn't necessarily know, Knock Knock wasn't, it appeared as for some people, I know they would drive down, the interstate and I was like, whoa, Knock Knock, this thing just came out of nowhere. But this is I remember talking to somebody in the beginning when you guys had first opened, they were like, I just had my son graduate from high school. And I remember when he was like in preschool talking about this and getting it going. She's like, it's been almost 20 years, in the making.
Yeah, pretty much the 6 sort of founding ladies that we had for the museum. I mean, to some extent, they thought about this idea to serve their, like you said, their children when they were at an age where they would have come to Knock Knock. And, now some of them are married. Some of them have, gone on in life. And here it is. So, yeah, it's always, that sort of makes it, almost additionally unfortunate. Really, after 2.5 years to be closed for 6 months, after 20 years of, fundraising and figuring it out, and how purposeful in a way the founding team was to kind of, select everything and make sure it had a learning philosophy behind it, and it addressed educational standards, and just such a rich, very, very well curated experience. And to not have it be available is just is tough, especially at a time when we know, the community at a distance, has just such a tremendous need for what we do.
Well, and I can tell you, and this is as a business owner and an eternal optimist, I'm hearing, it's like, okay, I remember when you guys first opened, it was just madhouse crazy, like everybody was going to Knock Knock. Everybody was talking, like it was just knock, 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 all over the place. Now you're closed for this long, still closed. Jimmy and I'm going to come to you, Jimmy, but Jimmy and I worked on, camps, and like, we did a bunch of these webinars like every week for weeks, talking with parents and how they were going to, what they were doing with their kids. And like every time, like Jimmy would jump on to Zoom with me, I'm like, dude, are you open yet? And he's like, no, it's like,
right.
But
right.
Once that comes back, it's like you get to have like a reopening again. That the optimist in me says it should go through the roof again, hopefully, but so I hope That works. But yeah, so unfortunately we get the no, not open, yet. But Jimmy, you've been plowing through and working with these camps, and helping put content, and just tell me what you've been just killing it. Like Peter said, nobody's sitting around doing
Well, no, that's
nothing.
true.
It's like the museum's closed, turn the sign, we'll be back, tomorrow. You guys are humping it over there.
Well, a lot of people have been going to the beach, but the only sand I've been seeing, and most of us here in the museum, is our sand pile out back, which has gotten a little bit of use, but not much. We really have, we really wanted to make sure that we continued to fulfill our mission of making sure that Knock Knock is a community spark for playful learning experiences. And I think that's what we've tried to do. I think we've gotten better at it over the course of the last, 150 days by putting out digital content that people could access for free, still see the learning innovations team teaching and being a part of the community. We've put out over 100 original content videos of different lessons, from whether it be art or Fitness Friday or Peter's science experiments, and even story time with Tammy. So it really has been something that we've enjoyed doing. And now we're making that even more of a part of our DNA, if you want to call it that, because we built out a digital studio with two different cameras that we will be able to do really entertaining, but also really great educational content that we can bring into classrooms, we can bring into homes. We're working on an actual STEM kit where you will be able to purchase a kit that will have everything you need inside of it. Our first one is going to be paper circuits, where you can actually learn about electricity and how the circuits work. And we're going to have a great video that will accompany that. And it's not just going to be, okay, tape the copper tape on and put the circuit together. It's going to be an educational experience that will be some entertainment value as well. But we're really excited about bringing Knock Knock. We call it Knock Knock at your door, and that's what it is. It's Knock Knock, whether it's in your living room, at school, heck, on the playground, wherever you have a device that you can watch and be a part of Knock Knock. And that's really what we're working for.
Well, I think frankly, I think it's awesome. It probably wasn't. We've had an incredible. We've done the show for a while now. We've had so many people. I'm willing to bet I'll ask the question. I kind of stopped asking it for a while, but it's always fun because I get the same answer. So you guys had a business plan, you got, an IT plan, you had a disaster recovery plan, if the server crashes, you had the plan for all this. Do you have a COVID plan? Do you have a pandemic plan?
Yeah, no COVID plan, no pandemic plan. And even, my background, I've been in the museum industry for better than 20 years. I've seen all kinds of things happen in this space, so, at some point I kind of felt like, when I came to Knock Knock, I was like, there's nothing I haven't seen, 20 years plus doing this, done sort of everything in the business. And then, COVID hits, and you're just like you said, you're like, is there any part of any one of these plans that we had that kind of covers this? And you go, no, not really. I do think, in a testament to the Knock Knock staff, the group that founded the museum, I think there is such a entrepreneurial spirit, right, within our own teams, and a driver to support the community, and just even immediately when we didn't even know what that looked like, and I think this is just a great anecdotal story. I'll tell it real quick, but right, I think maybe the beginning of the first week we were closed with COVID, there were just some kids that, because they weren't going to school and whatever, and they had come to Knock Knock, and they're like riding their bikes just down the hill, just neighborhood kids riding their bikes down the hill. And I was outside with our director of learning innovations, and she sees them. She's like, "Hey, you guys want some art activities to do at home? Do you have nothing to do? Do you want something like fun?" So we didn't even know what we're doing, so to speak. And we're just like, "Can we give you guys something to do? Like, if you need something to do." And we gave, and she's fantastic. So she gave these kids some stuff, and they had something to do, and that was great. And then, that sort of started our wheels turning in a way, right? We were like, oh, there's going to be a great need. There's kids that aren't in school. There's things that they're going to want to do. How do we, again, take what is the essence of Knock Knock and bring it out into the community and support the community that supported us, which kind of launched us into an effort to provide STEM kits to some of our great community partners. And we kind of thought about that, who have our partners been historically? How have we supported them? How do we continue that? And it just became like go from there. And we just haven't gotten off of the go. I don't know that many of us have taken a vacation during COVID. A day off here or a long weekend there, but I mean, on the whole, most of our team has been, full go this whole time to kind of keep all these new ideas incubating and going and preparing and all of that.
Well, I tell you what I love about what's happened here is you probably, when I was kind of referring on the plans, was there wasn't a plan, to, hey, let's make some video content. It was, probably, I'm sure it's more like, what exhibit do we bring in? How do we, make the space? And I think you said around middle of March. And so if I do backhanded math, we're talking like 5 months, we've lived, Jimmy, I'm kind of, maybe, to you and your team, you just mentioned, 100+ videos, unique content, working with all the camps. If that directive would have been on, like, hey, Jimmy, I've got an idea. Why don't we do everything we normally do, develop over 100, videos for everyone, and I need you to get some programming put together for all the camps, and I need you to do it now and be, at least 100 videos in the next couple months. It's like, normally people would have been like, there's no way. It's going to take me a couple months to get the, material. I got to get the cameras. I got to do, all this stuff. But it's like, everybody just stopped and said,
right,
that's what we got to do.
And it pushed us all to get out of our comfort zone a little bit and not rely on the fact that people can come in here and be in Go-Go Garage or Pelican Pantry or wherever and experience the museum. So how do we translate that to knock knock at your door? And it also got our great learning innovations team and others who are great with kids face to face and not used to being on camera or not used to making videos themselves. And it's broadened all of our horizons. And even with the digital studio that, I'm much more comfortable in front of the camera than I am behind the camera. But I've forced myself, or well, maybe he's forced me a little bit to broaden my abilities some. So it's been a fun. It's been a horrible process, but it's been a fun process. We wish we didn't have to do it quite the way we did it, but nonetheless, like Peter said, we didn't miss a beat, and it was a team effort from start to finish, and it's not finished. So it's still rocking and rolling, and again, we're rocking.
And I think, like you said, it was a horrible process. We got through, but we did it, and that's the thing that a lot of the stuff where I was kind of driving to. In a normal business acclimate to where if it's Peter's got the idea like, hey, we're going to go do this, that turns into, well, we're going to plan for this long and we're going to do this for this long. And anybody who works with me, on my team, they know like that's my mentality is it's like, hey, we're going to do this and we need it live tomorrow. I don't, all hell, we'll plan for it later, just do it, see what doesn't work, and we'll fix it for the next time. That's kind of the way I run. So I was excited to live kind of and watch everybody do this, but right. It has expanded to where, this will, my grandmother would always say, this too shall pass. We will get through this. The mask will come off, the doors will open, the sun will shine again, as I've said. And so, but that just, and it doesn't mean this stuff goes away. Now there's a whole knock, knock, come to it. But if you can't come to knock, knock, it's knock, knock at your door. And so,
it goes as far as birthday parties at your door. I mean, we've done virtual birthday parties, which we never expected to do. And we've started our virtual birthday parties, expanding that program. So, I mean, it's every facet of knock, knock that has had to evolve.
Right. And again, I think that important piece too is, again, looking at the community partners that historically would come and continuing to serve them, right? Like front yard bikes, they used to ride their bikes here once a week for a visit to the museum. Well, the museum's closed. So now that was sort of like their, incentive or their thing they did every week. So then it was like, oh, but we can provide front yard bikes with some STEM kits. And, for a period of time, we're like, we can go down and serve, you're having a camp, we can go down and provide you some programming. We worked with Fathers on a Mission. They were having a monthly activity here. Same thing. We're like, we can provide you a STEM kit. Well, you can't come to Knock Knock, in the Gardeer initiative. So I mean, it's really been great to continue to support those folks that historically would come here and have that experience with these expanded STEM kits. And we even did it with Cancer Services. They usually came for an after hours event, and we were able to curate a STEM kit for them. And just to your point, I mean, some of those kids were like doing our activity, going to cancer treatment or something like that. So, for so many of these folks that we've talked to, just like you said, their attitude is digital's not going away. right?
Mhm.
I mean, everybody, sees this as something that's going to go on, almost in perpetuity. I mean, probably to Jimmy's sadness, I don't know that we're going to try to do 100 videos every 6 months in a post-COVID environment, because we're mighty and small, but we don't have the bandwidth to facilitate that. But
Well, we know he can do it. So
that's right, we can do it. We might, and sort of just like you're
fine, not 100.
Yeah. I think just like you were saying about your own style. I mean, I think that's a little bit of our style during this COVID time is like, look, we want it to be perfect. Can we get it there? I don't know, but you know what? Let's do it, because imperfect in, asking for a little forgiveness, but and trying it out and learning and evolving, right? I mean, that's what we try to instill in kids here at the museum. So, I mean, like, to me, I said it early on, I always think about it. This is just knock living our learning philosophy.
it's I love one of the things I like with Knock, and I'll have to find it, so I'll reference this every now and then. I forget who did. There was a group they did a study where they this longitudinal study for years, and it was just a real simple question. They started with little kids, in preschool before they got into school. And where school you get educated, right? You learn things and you get smarter. But the question was, what do you want? What can you do with this? Or what can you do with a paperclip? And the younger kids, had just crazy. It was like, well, what if the paperclip was 100 feet tall, and made of foam rubber? And it's like, okay, what? And they just came with idea after idea after idea. And it really just, their minds expand. And then we run them through school. And then they ask, the seniors, what can you do with a paperclip? And they're like, paperclip some paper together. And it's like, we took that out. And that's one of the things that, you guys, with these kits, it just gets people thinking, and, really use the mind. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. This weekend, Duck Derby. Anybody who doesn't know, Jimmy, tell me what's going on. So,
Well, if you don't have your duck yet, if you have not adopted your duck, you still have time. We're going to be adopting ducks. You can adopt your duck just $5. You can think of it as your race entrance fee. And that allows you to be in the running for up to $5,000 in cash. So first place, the first duck, if you've adopted that first duck that crosses the finish line, $2,500. Third place, $1,500. Second place, $1,000. Fourth and fifth place isn't too bad either. A year of Cane's chicken fingers for fourth place, and in a fifth place, just a year of Whataburger. So, I mean, pretty good prizes across the board for first through fifth. But the main thing is, it's a lot of fun, and it also helps the museum. It helps us a great deal because, like Peter's been saying, we have relatively zero revenue coming through the door. So this is a fundraiser for us that we've been doing for 3 years. It's presented by the Team Automotive Group, and we have some other wonderful sponsors. But this year, it's all virtual. We're going all digital. We're not going to be able to have spectators here, unfortunately. But I'm telling you, this is the first and only live sporting event that Baton Rouge will see until September 26th when college football kicks off in Tiger Stadium.
So that's okay. So it is going to still happen on the lake?
It is not going to happen on the lake. It's even better. So we have 350-foot downhill driveway that we are adapting thanks to Lamar and old billboards that we are going to be lining the driveway with. So we'll start up at the top. We have the East Baton Rouge Fire Department coming to help us with the water portion of this spectacle. And then we will have 8,000 ducks that will then slide down this incredibly slick, incredibly fast racetrack all the way down almost to Dalrymple. And that is our race course. And we're going to have 3 cameras. We're going to have one at the starting line. We're going to have one in the middle. We're going to have one at the finish line. We're going to be switching back and forth. We've got some great packages. I'm telling you, this is going to be the greatest thing since the national championship.
This sounds like, a betting game here, at this point. We don't have anything else to go bet on right now, right?
Well, I mean, if you want to make a board, go for it.
So we've got 8,000 ducks?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, that's exactly right.
Where the heck do you keep 8,000 ducks every year?
It's a big pen. We keep them in a big pen. We try to keep them well fed. It's a labor of love all year long.
Oh my gosh.
And we've added one other duck, which is 22 feet tall and sitting in our field out here by Dalrymple. If you haven't seen it, his name's Quacky. He has been masked up, so we are following the mask mandate by the mayor and the governor. Thanks to Lamar, I got to tell you, Mr. Malvin over at Lamar spent a lot of time making this very, very special and unique mask for our. This is the second largest inflatable duck in the United States of America. 49 of the 50 states, that is the biggest duck in the country.
That's useful facts. I'm not going to use where, I don't know, but yes, we've got it. You can drive down and come see it, right?
And you can take pictures. You can come take a selfie. We had a duck stroll, which we've never done before, last weekend, where people were able to drive through and adopt their duck and vote on our hand-decorated corporate ducks from our corporate sponsors. It has really just been, just like everything else, we've had to pivot, but it has been well received by the community, and we appreciate the support very, very much. We wish we could have people here to really watch this, but I'm telling you, we're going to make sure that it is a fun experience starting at 12:40 Sunday afternoon, live on Facebook on our. You can go through our website or just go straight to our Facebook page. 12:40 live. It'll be recorded, of course, but the Ducks run at 1.
That's going to be interesting. And so anybody still now, go online, hit the Knock Knock Museum, right? $5, get you a duck. You can get as many as you want, right?
As many as you want. More ducks you have, the more chances you have at the big money.
There we go. All right. So this is, once again, we pivoted. And it used to be, for anybody who didn't know, you used to do this in the lake, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Where it used to be. For people who didn't understand, we'd take 8,000 ducks, throw them in the lake, and then spray a hose on them, right, to get them across, But we're going to social distance. We're going to let them stay with their family at Knock Knock. They're not going to go into the lake, that kind of thing right now. So
you got it. You got it. Yeah, it's a nice, and it's a nice, a nice Knock Knock team engineering challenge, right? You talk about the pivot part of that. I mean, you take away the course and you've got to create a giant slip and slide for ducks and a way to release 8,000 of them almost on time. And, Jimmy's setting this up like we're shooting NASCAR video here for the event. I mean, it's a pretty robust undertaking. Again, when you think about really, I mean, we're a pretty small crew here. And you kind of get, myself as the executive director, certainly Jimmy's the marketing guy. He and I are out yesterday inflating this duck and drilling, concrete anchors into the ground out there and whatever. So, I mean, we're just, going full guns to get these things done.
Need to find somebody, Jimmy, over at Celtic. It's got one of those super high def, high speed, cameras. So that as you move all 8,000 ducks at one time and then maybe let them like a photo finish, we need to. So if anybody's out there if you have that super high end camera, call Jimmy,
right.
Before Saturday.
Preferably, just a couple of days out.
But hey, if you can show up an hour before, everybody's used to last minute things right now, right?
Hey, we can handle it. Nothing new here.
Awesome. So go get a duck if you haven't gotten a duck, anybody.
Absolutely. Keep the ducks floating at Knock Knock long term. Adopt your duck. It'll be a fun event. Watch Jimmy on Facebook Live. It's going to be a good time.
And for that person who's working out and watching this or listening, didn't realize, go get the duck when you're done. Like, we're not joking. It's $5. It goes for a good cause.
Absolutely.
All right. Next order of business, we got to let everybody know. We've got Gala, November 12th. This is, let me guess, virtual again?
You got it. It's the new norm, unfortunately, is, got to be virtual.
Do we get to trick or treat this year? I never thought about that.
I've been wondering the exact same thing.
I think they're leaning towards probably not right now is the rumor I'm hearing, but we'll.
I literally said that out loud and thought November, and I'm like, wait, trick or treat. Is that gonna be allowed? I'm picturing the kids walking down the street and people like throwing candy at them from the front door. So
that I could get behind.
I'm with that, So anyway, back to Gala. It's gonna be virtual November 12th. Tell me what we need to know.
Jimmy, all right, I'll go, you go, we'll all go. So I mean, obviously, typically storybook themed, right? Always been the storybook soiree. This year, our theme is sort of keep the pages turning at Knock Knock. Obviously the museum is closed. Again, this is a great fundraising opportunity for us to kind of generate some unrestricted, funds to keep, just keep paying those, utility bills and all that stuff that comes in while we're closed. It's going to probably be like a 40 to 45-minute piece, again, sort of live streamed. We've got such a fantastic committee that works on this event sort of every year. Again, they've worked with us on the pivot to digital and looking at what that looks like. Megan Bookball is the chair of that group. I mean, they're just so fantastic and so excited about the event and what they bring to the table and the ideas and really just the interest in making sure that even though it's virtual, that it still has all that sort of flourish that you would associate with, the third year of just a fantastic knock fundraising event. I know Jimmy's got a group he's working with just on, what is that run a show virtually, look like,
That sounds like a lot of work, again, having to pivot and move and put it all back together again.
Well, I think this will only be our third one. And we've been known, especially the first 2 years with Alice in Wonderland and transforming the museum into actually feeling like the Alice in Wonderland story, and the same thing with Wizard of Oz, and we lit up the museum with the green, made it the Emerald City, and so how do we still give it that special sparkle feel without actually being here? So that's one of the challenges that the committee and we're all working on. And I guarantee you, if we can make a duck derby exciting, we're going to make Storybook Florida a whole lot more exciting. Don't worry.
It's sad. Everybody's having to do this. You guys are going 3 years in. Normally it's like, hey, third time's the charm. We got this. We've got it figured out. And it's like now, everything you knew and thought you knew, throw that out. We're going to do this different this year. So
we can handle it.
Yeah.
Hey, you're cranking out videos, pushing content, working with camps, got running galas. You got 8,000 ducks. I don't know anybody else that got 8,000 ducks. And, you got sounds like the largest slip and slide in town. That's I don't know how you're going to not have people just show up and start going down that thing at 1:30. So
yeah, we'll be breaking it down promptly at 1:03. I'll be out there rolling it up for that exact reason. That's as the executive director, you got to kind of wear a lot of those hats, right? And sometimes Jimmy and I talk about this, because we're still boys somewhere in our minds, right? I mean, like he and I were taking a cart down the hill, and I'm like, don't you just want to like jump on that and ride it down the hill? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, me too. I'm like, that's a horrible idea, So, you have to let the executive director brain kick in and go, all right, like when we're done, we just need to start rolling the course up, because otherwise our adult kid brains are going to kick in and go, yeah, one time down it is a slip and slide is good. And then the next trip is to the emergency room and you go, that was a really bad idea.
I did a beach trip last year with a friend of mine, and we're sitting there, watching, and there's these kids that are like, 10 feet away, and they're doing those skim boards, where they just throw it in the water and they jump on it, and I'm like, I want to do that. I hadn't done that in forever. And he's like, no, I don't know. And I'm like, let's try, and walked over to the kids. I'm like, hey, can I try that? Horrible mistake. Like, I think I got it right. I threw it. I jumped on it. The board went that way. I went that way and came back down, and sand and brush burn and just, it's like, no, I've got to stop this kind of stuff. It's like, my brain doesn't work that way. But when you were telling me about this slip and slide, that's where I was going. I'm like, I wonder if I could get there early and hit down it, just one time. But no,
we've been thinking the same thing. We haven't told him that yet, but yeah. We might
He's just going to be behind. They're going to release the ducks, and as they're rolling, he's like rolling it behind the ducks.
Yeah, right. I'll be out there. I'll be like the Browns crew out there, it'll just be, chasing the ducks down the thing. Like, all right, we're done. It's all rolled up, guys.
It might be safer and less work instead of having to rush and roll it up. Just go buy like a box of nails or something and just throw it when it's over and be like, look, it doesn't look safe anymore.
It's all black, and it's going to be 150 degrees on that night, no matter how much water. It may be boiling the water off. We'll have to see if we don't melt any ducks on the way down.
Oh my gosh. Well, looks like, hats off to you guys, still moving, making things happen. And not only that, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Spirits are good. Sounds like everybody, we're all kind of laughing, having some fun here, but it is sad at the end of the day. We've got, coming up on 6 months of being closed. Like I said, every time I see Jimmy, every time are you open yet? Is he open? So, if you can, if you can help knock, if you can get a duck, it's $5, people. do what you can, and Jimmy, Peter, we appreciate everything you guys are doing for the community and helping out, just the high spirits and keep moving. A lot of people could have just locked the door and said, we'll call you when we're open. That's the easy thing to do, but you guys are sticking through it and we appreciate it. And, love to have you come back and tell us, who won, how it worked. Maybe we get the winner to come in and let them be excited about how they got a duck and now look what they got. They got a big check. Somebody's going to get it, right?
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And just like you said, I think we haven't, as a staff, nobody's shied away from the challenge. Everybody's been just going. And again, most of these ideas that we're running with, even this duck stroll that we just did, we had that idea like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. Just to your point earlier, like how often do you go, hey, do you want to add a sub event the weekend before the big event so that we can maybe bring some people out and we'll see what that looks like and showcase some stuff? And to some extent, I'm just sort of crazy enough on Twitter. I'm like, absolutely. Like, kind of like you were saying, it's like, I'm like, dude, I'm willing to get up at 4 a.m, come in and help you out. You tell me what you need, like we'll all pitch in. And I think we just have kind of a whole team that has that, like, we're just going to pitch in and get it done and support. We even hired a new development director during COVID, somebody we had to interview via Zoom, which is sort of so non-traditional. You can't even imagine that. And she came in ahead of all these changes and events to virtual and whatever, and was just like, all right, I got it. We're going to roll with it. We're going to keep this thing going, hammer down. And, it's just, fantastic. You can even bring a new member into the team and right off the bat, they're like, I get it. I'm going to do it. So, we're just.
We had the Parents Magazine does their, they do a big cover kit event every year. And we bring it's controlled chaos for a whole day, that normally runs. And we sat down, we're like, well, it's highly frowned upon to put a whole bunch of little kids and vendors and people all in a room. So that's not going to work. What are we going to do? And, we just brainstormed and was like, well, what if we just like split it up all over town? Just came up with this idea to, run it all over the place. And then we walked out because there was a couple of us in the meeting, 2 or 3 of us, and we kind of go, okay, we'll give it a shot. And we walked out to, go talk to the team and was like, hey, here's what it. And I remember one of the team was like, oh, I heard y'all already talking about it. I already made some calls. We're just going in. And it's like, you need anything written up? Or they're like, no, we're just going to go and see what happens. And
I love it.
It was amazing. Went super successful. We had a good time. We think everybody in the community had a good time. We all stayed safe and it was fun. And that's what I think it's all about, right? There's the old, I like how people say, there's the optimist and the pessimistic, arguing, and I heard somebody say it, or I saw it written somewhere. It was like the optimist and the pessimistic, while you were busy arguing if the glass was half full or half empty, I'm the opportunist and went and drank the glass, So
I like that.
So, well, look, guys, I appreciate it. I know you guys got things to do. Busy as heck, Jimmy, we're going to need another 30 videos by the end of the week.
You got it. No problem, man. I'm working on one right now. I got some ducks out there ready to practicing for the race. I hope it's one of yours that you've adopted. But if not, get one.
I need a good duck. I think I'm going to title the episode, Get a Duck.
There you go.
It's too easy. So, well, look, guys, this has been fun for me. I've had a good time with
Great
it.
For us.
Like I said, love to have you come back and, tell us what's going on. And maybe, like I said, let's find that winner. Just make it real, so somebody can see it.
Be great.
And we can tell them, then hopefully they can go, yeah, I saw the show and I went and got a duck and now I got a check. So
there you go. Love it.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have an awesome day. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Brandon.